Hello and welcome to the Football for Kids podcast with me, Darren Rees. In this episode, we're going to be speaking about the legend that is LUIS FIGO. If you haven't heard of LUIS FIGO, it's very likely your adults who love football would have. LUIS FIGO was a Portuguese footballer who was a goal-scoring and chant-creating machine. What a player. But before we get into this episode, as always, we need to do some shout-outs. So let's get on with them, shall we? The first one says, "Hello, my name is Ryan from Kildare, Ireland, and I'm 7 but will turn 8 on the 26th of February. Well, I hope you have a very good birthday, Ryan." And he goes on to say, "I listen to your podcast every night before bed and I love it. Well, thank you very much. Can you do a shout out to my team?" Well, a big shout out to Kill Celtic Under 9s. Like his dad, Ryan is an Arsenal fan, and he says, "Can you do a podcast episode on Thierry Henry, as my dad never stopped talking about him?" Well, Ryan, your dad's right to not stop talking about him, because what a player Thierry Henry was. I've added that one to the list. The next one says, "Hi Darren, could you please give a shout out to my team, Chalfont Saints, and my friends, Josh and Archie? Can you please do an episode on Diego Maradona? Thanks, from Dylan, age 7. Well, thank you very much for your message, Dylan. And Diego Maradona has been on my list for such a long time, and it's one I need to do, and I will do in a not-so-distant future. But his story is so incredible, I think I'm going to have to do 2, 3, maybe even 4 parts. But that episode, or those episodes, will be out in the not-so-distant future. Thank you very much for being a listener, and I hope that you enjoy this episode." And the next one says, "Hi Darren, my name is Lucas Heron. I am 5 years old and I love learning all about football from your podcast. I would love an episode on Chelsea FC. My favourite player is number 19, Mason Mount." Well, Lucas, you'll probably know by now that I am a Portsmouth fan, but my sons, Charlie and Ted, are Chelsea fans. And my son Charlie, his favourite player is also Mason Mount. So maybe I need to get that one done for the pair of you. And the last one is from Daniel. He says, "Can you give a shout out to my team, Hucknall Sports Blue under 12s? And can you do an episode on Aaron Ramsdale?" Well, Daniel, I've beaten you to it, because a couple of episodes ago we released the one on Aaron Ramsdale. So hopefully you enjoyed that one, and so did everybody else. If you'd like to send a message with a request for an episode, a shout out to your teammates, or whatever it is, you can ask an adult to send an email to footballforkidspodcast@gmail.com. Right then, let's get on with this episode about the brilliant, the magnificent, the wonderful LUIS FIGO. LUIS FIGO was born in Portugal in 1972. That was even before I was born. And like we have discovered with anyone in the Portuguese language, he's got a pretty long name. His full name is, bear with me, Luis Felipe Madeira Queiro Figo. Hopefully I've got that right. Any Portuguese listeners, let us know. Figo grew up playing football on the streets of Lisbon, and one of the first teams that he played for was a team called Os Pastillas. And he played futsal, which is a street version of football. If you listen to the episode about Ronaldo, the R9 Ronaldo, the Brazilian one, you'll know that futsal was a big part of his career as well. Futsal is a game which requires slick skills, fast thinking, agility, and the ability to make the right decisions quickly. Figo's younger days as a futsal player and playing football on the streets of a football-mad city helped him a lot as a youngster. Figo, at 12 years old, joined a club called Sporting Lisbon. You've probably heard of that club by now. Many of the great Portuguese players started at Sporting Lisbon, and that's where it all properly started for the great LUIS FIGO at just 12 years old. LUIS FIGO made his way through the youth academy at Sporting and progressed to be a senior player for the team. In Portugal, they have a tournament called the Portuguese Cup. It's very similar to the FA Cup here in Britain. Figo won the cup with Sporting, and over his years there, he made 129 appearances, scoring 16 magnificent goals and assisting with plenty more. After 10 years at Sporting Lisbon, it was time for Figo to move on, and many of the clubs around Europe were very interested in him. Some of the top Italian teams in Serie A, or Serie A if you're in England, were keen on him. Manchester City were very keen on him, and so were Barcelona. Barcelona, who were a major powerhouse in European football at the time, ended up getting Figo. When Figo was at Barcelona, he was playing alongside some amazing players, including R9 Ronaldo and another Brazilian player who was incredible called Rivaldo. We'll have to do an episode on him on another day. What a player he was. LUIS Figo had it all. He was fast, strong, rapid on his feet. He had power, but one of his biggest skills and abilities was his amazing dribbling. He would go in and out of defenders, cutting angles left, right and centre. Many times defenders would fly at Figo in threes and fours, and he would dribble through the lot of them, normally ending up with an assist and sometimes a goal. Figo also loved the shot outside the box, and there was one particular goal against Newcastle in the Champions League back in the 90s. When LUIS Figo got the ball landed at his feet outside the box, he struck the ball and belted it into the bottom right-hand corner. What an amazing goal that was. LUIS Figo played 172 league games for Barca. He scored 30 league goals, assisted many more, and won major titles with the club. Like all the great players though, he was keen to try another club. Where would Figo go next? Well, he did what some, but not bundles of players have done. He went to one of Barca's biggest rivals. Yep, he went to Real Madrid. When Figo started playing for Real Madrid, the rivalry between Barca and Madrid intensified. The Barcelona fans felt betrayed by Figo and couldn't believe that he'd left their club to join their rivals. The year which Figo joined Real, he became the winner of the Ballon d'Or, a very special award for the greatest footballer of the year. If you haven't heard the episode on the Ballon d'Or, it's called Dipped in Gold. Give it a listen when you get a chance. Another episode you need to listen to if you haven't already is one on the El Clásico, the rivalry, the special match between Barcelona and Real Madrid. And in October 2000, LUIS Figo took part in his first El Clásico as a Real Madrid player. When he got his first touch of the ball, the Barcelona fans were so loud with their boos that people there said it was deafening. The people who were there, sat in the stadium, said it's one of the loudest boos they've ever heard in the history of football. Figo had upset the Barcelona fans. He tried his best not to let the boos get to him, and he tried to just get on with his career at Real Madrid. In his first season with Real Madrid, they won the La Liga, and he was named FIFA Player of the Year. That season, Figo got to play alongside one of the greatest French players who's ever lived, Zinedine Zidane. The following season, Figo and Zidane played a major part together in Real Madrid, winning the Champions League. What a combination of players. But after 5 seasons at Real Madrid, scoring scorchers and setting up some beautiful goals, Figo ended his season with another La Liga title win, and he was named as one of Real Madrid's greatest ever players. LUIS Figo finished off his career in the Italian top division, playing in Serie A with the brilliant Inter Milan. Figo was joined by a fellow Portuguese man when he was at Inter, the special one, a man called Jose Mourinho. He joined to manage the club, and Figo was a very happy man about this. It was always said that LUIS Figo had dreamt about playing in the Italian top division, and his dream had come true. He played 4 seasons with Inter Milan and did what he did best. He created chances, swung balls into the box, created space and scored crackers. In total, across the Portuguese, Spanish and Italian leagues, LUIS Figo played 792 league games. That is a lot of football. But he was also a very special part of the Portuguese senior team. He played for his country and represented his country from the under-16s all the way through to the seniors. In fact, he represented his country 172 times, scoring 32 amazing goals. And in 2004, he very nearly won the Euros, as Portugal made the final of the European Cup, which was held in Lisbon and across Portugal in 2004. I was lucky to be in Portugal when that tournament happened, and I remember seeing buildings covered with pictures of LUIS Figo, and the buzz around the capital of Portugal was very, very special. Portugal is a country which loves its football, and the country loved and loves LUIS Figo. He will go down as one of their greatest players, and somebody that will be spoken about for a very long time. I hope that you've enjoyed listening and learning about the career of the wonderful LUIS Figo. And remember, if you know someone who loves football just as much as you do, then please tell them about Football for Kids. And whether you're playing football soon, watching it on the telly or pitch side, I hope that you enjoy the game. See you next time.